The coffee cup slipped from Maya's hands, shattering across the tile floor in 1,000 glittering pieces. But she barely noticed. Her eyes were locked on the man standing in the doorway of her small cafe, the man she'd spent 5 years hoping she'd never see again. Alexander Chen hadn't changed much. The same sharp jawline, the same confident posture that came from growing up with endless wealth and privilege. His tailored suit probably cost more than her monthly rent. But it was his eyes that made her breath catch, those distinctive amber-flecked eyes that she saw every single morning when her twins, Lily and Lucas, bounded into her bedroom asking for pancakes. "Mommy, you okay?" Lucas tugged at her apron, his small face creased with concern. Those same amber-flecked eyes stared up at her, innocent and trusting. Time seemed to freeze. Alexander's gaze moved from Maya to the children, and she watched the exact moment recognition flickered across his face. His eyes widened almost imperceptibly, his lips parting slightly as he looked from Lucas to Lily, who was coloring at a corner table, her dark hair falling across her face in the same way his did. Maya had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times in her head. She'd imagined yelling, crying, demanding to know why he'd disappeared. Without a word the morning after, they'd spent together. But standing there, with her 5-year-old son looking between them with growing confusion, all she could do was bend down and start picking up the broken ceramic pieces with trembling hands. "Let me help you with that." Alexander's voice was deeper than she remembered, roughened by time and perhaps surprise. He crouched beside her, his expensive shoes crunching on the shattered cup. "Don't." The word came out sharper than she intended. "I've got it. Maya." The way he said her name, soft, almost pleading, made her chest tighten. "We need to talk." "We really don't." She stood abruptly, dumping the ceramic shards into the trash behind the counter. "Lucas, honey, go sit with your sister. Miss Sarah will be here soon to take you two to the park." Lucas hesitated, his little face scrunched up the way it always did when he was trying to figure out if something was wrong. Finally, he nodded and scampered off to join Lily, who was now watching the strange man with open curiosity. The cafe was empty except for the 4 of them. It was Tuesday afternoon, the slowest time of the week, which was why Maya usually scheduled the kids' outings then. She'd built this life carefully, deliberately, making sure every piece fit together to support her small family. She couldn't let Alexander Chen waltz back in and dismantle it all. "They're mine, aren't they?" Alexander said quietly, his eyes still on the children. "They have to be." The eyes, the hair, the way that little boy tilts his head when he's thinking. "What do you want, Alexander?" Maya cut him off, her voice low and urgent. "You made your choice 5 years ago when you disappeared without a trace. You don't get to show up now and—" "I didn't know." His words were barely above a whisper, but they stopped her cold. "Maya, I swear to you I didn't know. If I had known you were pregnant—" "You left." The pain she'd buried for 5 years surged up, hot and raw. "I woke up and you were gone. No note, no number, nothing. I tried to find you, tried to tell you, but you'd checked out of your hotel. Your phone number was disconnected. It was like you'd never existed." Alexander's face went pale. "My father," he said, and something in his voice made her pause. "The morning I left, I got a call that he'd had a heart attack. I had to fly back to Singapore immediately, and when I got there, everything fell apart. The company, his health, family obligations, I couldn't escape. By the time things stabilized, 6 months had passed. When I came back to find you, the bookstore where you worked was closed. No one knew where you'd gone." Maya wanted to be angry. She wanted to hold on to the hurt and betrayal that had fueled her through pregnancy, through childbirth, through countless sleepless nights when she'd wondered if she was strong enough to do this alone. But looking at Alexander now, she saw something she hadn't expected. Genuine pain, genuine regret. "I named my company after you," he continued, a sad smile touching his lips. "Chen and Maya Technologies. Everyone thinks Maya is my middle name, but it was you. It's always been you. I never forgot that weekend, the way you laughed, the way you talked about opening your own cafe someday and filling it with books and good coffee and making people feel at home." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. She glanced over at Lily and Lucas, who were now drawing together, their dark heads bent close. "They're incredible," she said softly. Lucas is obsessed with building things. He can spend hours with blocks or Legos, figuring out how things work. And Lily reads constantly. She taught herself when she was 3. They're smart and funny and kind. And they're the best thing that ever happened to me. Tell me about them. Alexander's voice was thick with emotion. Please, tell me everything. For the next hour, as the afternoon light shifted through the cafe windows, Maya talked. She told him about her pregnancy, about working at the bookstore until she was 8 months along, about her water breaking in the middle of her shift. She told him about the terror of delivering twins alone, with only her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Chen, no relation, to hold her hand. She told him about the first year when she barely slept, when she survived on determination, and the kindness of neighbors who brought meals and helped with childcare. She told him about finally saving enough to lease this tiny cafe space, about painting the walls herself while the twins napped in a playpen, about the morning she'd opened the doors for the first time, terrified no one would come, about building a community here, 1 cup of coffee at a time, until her little cafe became a neighborhood haven. Alexander listened without interrupting, his eyes never leaving her face except to glance at the children. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. I want to be part of their lives, he finally said. I want to be their father. I know I have no right to ask after all this time, after everything you've been through alone. But Maya, I've spent 5 years thinking about you, wondering what might have been. And now I know I have children. His voice cracked. I can't walk away. I won't. It's not that simple. Maya's heart was hammering. You can't just appear and expect them to understand. They've never had a father. I've never even told them much about you because I didn't know what to say. How do I explain that their father didn't know they existed? Then let me get to know them, slowly. However, you think is best, Alexander leaned forward, his intensity almost overwhelming. I'm not trying to take them from you or change the life you've built, but I want to be part of it. I want to help. And Maya, I want to... He hesitated, then pushed forward. I want to get to know you again, too. If you'll let me... The bell above the cafe door chimed, and Sarah, the college student who helped with childcare, breezed in with her usual sunny smile. Hey, Maya. Ready to go, kiddos? Lily and Lucas erupted in excited shouts, gathering their coloring supplies and racing to the door. But before they left, Lucas turned back, studying Alexander with those wise, amber-flecked eyes. Are you a friend of Mommy's? He asked. Alexander glanced at Maya, and she saw the question in his eyes, the hope, the fear, the desperate wish that she'd give him a chance. She thought about all the nights she'd resented him, all the times she'd struggled alone. But she also thought about the man he seemed to be now, the genuine emotion in his voice, the way he looked at their children like they were the most precious things in the world. Yes, Maya heard herself say. He's an old friend. His name is Alexander. Lucas nodded seriously, then grinned. Do you like Legos? I'm building a robot. I love Legos, Alexander said, his voice rough with barely suppressed emotion. Maybe I could see it sometime? Tomorrow? Lucas asked hopefully. Mommy, can he come tomorrow? Maya's throat tightened. She looked at Alexander, at this man who'd once been a stranger, then a brief love, then a memory, and now a father. She thought about the years ahead, the complications and conversations and inevitable challenges. But she also thought about Lucas's question, about Lily's curious eyes, about the possibility that maybe, just maybe, they could build something beautiful from the broken pieces. Tomorrow, she agreed softly. Come back tomorrow. As Sarah led the twins out into the afternoon sunshine, their laughter floating back through the open door, Maya and Alexander stood in the quiet cafe, two people who'd lost each other, once and found each other again in the most unexpected way. Thank you, Alexander whispered. I promise I'll do everything I can to be worthy of this chance. Maya nodded, wiping at her eyes. They deserve to know their father. And maybe we all deserve a second chance. Outside, the city hummed with life. But inside the small cafe, surrounded by the smell of coffee and the warm afternoon light, two broken pieces began the slow, careful work of becoming whole.